All right, welcome back. So today I am going to be going over a fourplex that came across my desk. We're going to go through the numbers here and kind of show you guys exactly the process that I go through when looking at um, a multifamily unit and discuss, what's going on. If you guys see me looking over here, I'm checking out the numbers that are in my notes that I have written down here. So on this deal here, it's priced out at 525, and this is all according to the broker who created the marketing package for the seller. Um, the fair market value they say is $550,000. So let's do a walkthrough here on this property. And the numbers that the broker sent over were the pro forma numbers. So that's the numbers that we're going to be using. They also have the actual rents listed, but everything else is the pro forma numbers. So we're going to use those on this video here today because that's the only real numbers that they gave us. They didn't give us the actual numbers. So on this deal, as you can see here, the asking price is 525. It is a 4 units, which comes out to about $131,000 per unit. So based off that pro forma, they had the gross yearly potential rents at 44,880, with no vacancies, no concessions, no bad debt. And then they had other income of $4,800, which brings their total net income to 49,680. They did break down the expenses, but I'm not going to go through these here because this is just kind of like your quick once over when you're running these numbers. You just want to get through it quickly, and so that way you can move on to the next deal. So I just used the total figure of 21,278 that they had given for the expenses, and as you can see, that came out to about 42.8% of their actual income. Now, on average, I mean that those numbers may be right, they may not be right, but on average, you're probably looking at about 50% of your expenses coming out of your income per year. The cap rate on this deal, the broker said it was a 5.41% cap rate, which, according as you can see here, brought the fair market value to 524,991. So pretty spot on to their 525 asking number. But let's see what this deal should actually be. So first off, I'm going to use my version here, as you can see in number two. And I'm going to use the number that came up at the bottom for the cap rate that was stated here for the fair market value. And this is based off of their net operating income of this 28,402. So at that number, as you can see here, we're going to put 25% down. And then that gives us a loan balance of 393,743. And then we're going to put $7,400 away for reserves. So those are those just in case anything happens uh, to the property, once we first take it over. Uh, so then if we bring in any investors on this deal, um, we're going to even our sales here, as I said, that includes our down payment. We're going to need to bring 138,648 to closing. Now, like I said, this doesn't reflect all the numbers in the deal because there are numbers that aren't shown here, but we're not going to dive into that in this video. That'll be for a different video. And if you guys join our Patreon page, you can see a full breakdown of this property here, and we'll go over that in that Patreon video in more detail. So our total acquisition cost on this property would be $532,391. So, based off of their actual rents, and that's what we're going to use for my version here because the broker provided that. This deal brought in $38,700. And like I said, they didn't have any vacancies listed, but we're going to add in 15% vacancies because once we take the deal over, if somebody moves out, we're going to need to do some work on the apartment that's vacated to get it ready, and that's going to cause some downtime on the deal, and that's what this 15% reflects here. So that gives us a effective gross income of 32,895, and we're going to keep the other income the same at the $4,800. So that's saying that we're going to make a total net income for the year of 37,695, and as you can see, that is about $12,000 less than what the pro forma stated. And the pro forma, like I said, they had the rents at 935 a month, and right now they're currently not even getting that for any of their units. Right now, the average is about $800. So there's one more than that, one less than that, and then the other two are around $800. The expenses, like I said, we set that at 50%. So that's 18,848. So on this deal here, if we were to pay the 525 for it, we would have a total debt service per year of $31,000, and that is assuming a 6.25% interest rate with a 25-year loan. And I got those numbers based off of what the broker put in their marketing package, so that's what the numbers that I used. So as you can see, after we get done paying all the bills, we're coming out of pocket $12,321 every single year. Uh, and that gives us a 3.59% cap rate. And whereas you can see, we have a negative 8.9% return for our cash on cash. So if we were to pay the 525 for this uh, property that the seller is asking and then the broker listed out here, we would be losing money every single year on this deal, and that's just not a deal um, that we would take. So for this property, we would actually move on from this property. But with that being said, let's actually see where we really need to be at to make the numbers work for us and to purchase this deal. And it's probably not something that the seller would take, but we need to be make sure that, you know what, if we were to pull the trigger on this deal and send something back to the broker on this deal, what is that number, and what does it look like for the rest of the numbers? Um, and we're going to actually use what the rents are currently for this deal, um, because, like I said, if we once we get it and we turn it over, could we make the 935 a month to get up to their pro forma numbers? Not really sure, but we want to use what is currently today. So I ran these numbers a little earlier, so I know at a purchase price of $253,000. Um, oh, and yeah, before I go there and finish that off, this debt service ratio. So this number here is what the bank wants us to be at. So anything less than 1.25 says that, you know what, this is not a good buy and we should skip it and move on. And the bank wouldn't even give us a loan on this property anyway unless we came with a much larger down payment to get that debt service ratio up. So you want to make sure on any of your deals you want to have at least a 1.25% ratio, and that gives you that buffer that you need to be able to pay all of your bills and still have money left over for anything down the line that may go wrong, because you're going to have to put money away. So we're going to use a $253,000 purchase price with 25% down. And as you can see, that comes out to 48% of the asking price. Yes, it is low, but this is the number that works for this deal to get us to that magic 1.25% debt service ratio. Um, so as you can see on this one here, we have a loan balance of $189,000. We're still putting the $7,400 away for reserves. Closing costs are going to be the same. And for this, we're going to need a lot less money coming to the table, $78,000. And that gives us an all-in price of $268,146. Like I said, we're going to use the exact same numbers here. that we did for the my version for the because we're using the actual numbers. So that's the 38,700, and we're still keeping the 15% vacancy rate. I'm not going to worry about concessions because I'm just kind of adding that into that number. And then we're going to use the $4,800 for the other income. As you can see, we have a net income of 37,695, and then our expenses stayed the same. So for this one here, now we have a debt service ratio of 15,021, a lot less than that $31,000 that we had before. And then keeping that same 6.25% interest rate with the 25-year loan, you can see that our cash flow after our debt service, so meaning that after we get done paying our loan, we are left with $3,827. So that gives us at a cap rate of 7.45 with a cash on cash return of 4.88. Now that is yes, that's a low cash on cash return. But like I said, this is a deal that we probably would not do anyway, but it does hit us at that 1.25 debt service ratio. So if you guys want to see the full video on this here, it will be in our Patreon. And then you guys can go over and subscribe, and I'll show you the entire breakdown. As you can see, all the different tabs down here. I'll go through those here in that video. But is this a deal that we would offer on? That is going to be a no. Because as we get through and bringing investors on and paying, having to pay the investors back and then paying ourselves, this is a deal that doesn't make sense for us to do. So I will see you guys on the next video.